You know that moment when you're lying in bed at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, and it hits you? This is not the life I signed up for. Maybe the divorce papers are signed, maybe the house is quiet, maybe your kids are with her this week and you're alone with your thoughts for the first time in years. And the pressure, it's everywhere. Pressure to be okay, pressure to rebuild your life, pressure not to fall apart. This video is not about getting your ex back. This is about you becoming the rebuilt man under pressure, the man who stops collapsing under the weight of what happened and starts using that pressure to forge who he becomes next. So here's the promise. Stay with us to the end. You walk away with a 4-phase roadmap to go from post-divorce collapse to a man who sleeps at night, trains with purpose, stops chasing his ex, and becomes the father, the leader, and the man he actually respects. You'll see why you feel stuck right now, what it's costing you, and the specific shifts you must make if you want this chapter to be the beginning of your comeback instead of the end of your story. And you'll walk away knowing the exact role you're meant to play in your own comeback story. Not as the victim of what happened, but as the architect of who you are becoming next. Let's be brutally honest here. Divorce isn't just a relationship ending, it's a full-blown identity crisis. You didn't just lose a wife, you lost a rhythm, you lost a role, you lost the story you thought your life was going to follow. Most men do one of these things under that pressure. They numb it with work, corn, alcohol, junk food, scrolling. They deny it. They say, I'm fine. It is what it is. I don't care. Or they drown in it. They stay silent, angry, resentful, stuck in the loop of what she did and how unfair it was. So here's what it really cost you. You wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep because your brain never shuts off. You slide in your training, your work, your fatherhood. You become a man you don't respect and your kids feel it even if they can't explain it. The problem isn't that you're under pressure. The problem is what that pressure is forming you in right now. Because if you stay stuck, you don't just lose your marriage. You lose your edge. You lose your drive. You lose the man you're supposed to become after all of this. So let me give you one real story here so this isn't just theory. There's a guy, mid-40s, 2 kids. She left the house as quiet, and he did what most men do. He pretended he was fine. He went harder at work, stopped training consistently, started scrolling her social media at night and drinking just to let the edge off. 6 months later, he was 20 pounds heavier. His blood work was trash. He was snapping at his kids, and he hadn't gone a single week without texting her something he regretted. His rock bottom moment, his son asked, Dad, are you mad at me or just mad? That's when he realized, if I keep going like this, my kids aren't going to remember the divorce. They're going to remember who I became after the divorce. That's when the shift happened. He stopped treating the pressure like punishment, and he started treating it like a process. When metal goes into fire, it's not because the metal was bad. It's because the smith sees what it could become. Right now, you're in the forge. The anxiety, the fear, the shame, the regret, that's fire. You can interpret the fire in 2 ways here. This proves I'm a failure, or this is where I get rebuilt. Every man who ever rebuilt his life after divorce had a moment where he decided, I'm done letting this be the story that defines me. I can explain my past, but it's not allowed to dictate my future. That decision, not the paperwork, not the lawyer, not her choices, that decision is the real turning point. So let's talk about identity because this is where everything changes. Most men live in one of these identities. The victim, look at what she did to me. The villain, it must be all my fault, I am broken. The ghost, I'll just disappear into work and distractions and hope the pain goes away. The rebuilt man under pressure chooses a 4th identity, the architect. The architect does not ask, why did this happen to me? He asks, given that this did happen to me, who do I choose to become now? The architect doesn't wait for motivation or permission. He designs, he decides, he executes. So here's the 4-phase roadmap that follows. Phase 1, stabilize the man, not the marriage. For 30 days, the only targets are sleep, no drunk text, no social media stalking, and one honest action that you're proud of every day. You stop scanning her life and start scanning your own behaviors. What are you eating? When are you sleeping? What are you consuming? What are you avoiding? Phase 2, rebuild your frame. Rebuild your body and structure so your mind has a stable home. That means a fixed wake up time, 3 to 4 training sessions a week, one written daily plan, and a hard cutoff time for screens. This isn't to look better for someone else, but to start trusting yourself again. Now, phase 3, this is where you define your story. You stop hiding your divorce and shameful secrets and start integrating as a part of your origin story. You learn to talk about it without rage and self-pity, just truth, responsibility, and direction. You literally write your before, bottom, decision, and rebuild story, so your brain has a new script to follow. And in phase 4, this is where you lead again. You step back into leadership in your own life, with your own kids, in your own work, and eventually in your own relationships. You become the man whose presence is steady under pressure because you've already walked through the fire and refused to break. That's the path. Not a hack, not a trick, a transformation process you can follow. If you're honest, you already know that there's a gap between the man you're being right now and the man you're capable of becoming. You feel it when you look in the mirror and you don't recognize those eyes. You feel it when you send a text you know you shouldn't have. You feel it when you say, I'm fine, but your chest is tight and your mind won't shut off at night. That gap isn't the reason to hate yourself. The gap is your invitation. It's proof that there's more in you than you're living in your life right now. And most men try to close that gap alone in the dark with no process, no mentorship, and no accountability. They say, I'll figure it out, and then weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and the divorce becomes just another scar they never heal from. If you're done with that, if you're ready to stop being the man who talks about changing and start being the man who does, here's the next step. What this channel is for is not a place to complain about women. It is not a place to recycle bitterness. This is a place where men rebuild under pressure together. And if this lands with you and you actually want to start the 4-phase roadmap, here's the offer. Who is it for? Divorced or divorcing men who feel stuck, numb, or angry and know they're meant for more than just surviving this. What do you get? Weekly live calls where you walk through these phases and apply them in your real life. A simple written 7-day plan every week so you're never guessing what to do next. And a group of men who are rebuilding alongside of you so you know you're not doing this alone. What it solves? You get out of the stuck loop. The overthinking, the texting your ex, the doing things that aren't you. This gets you moving again in your body, your habits, and your leadership. It gives you a clear story and path so that this divorce becomes the beginning of your next chapter, not the end of your old one. So why now? Because every week is another delay. Your kids, your own future, and your mind get the weaker version of you. And here's what to do next. Hit the subscribe so this isn't just a one-time motivation hit. Drop the word rebuilt in the comments so you can declare it publicly, even if no one knows what you're going through yet. Then click the link in the description. Read the details, and if this fits, join us. That's where the deeper work happens. You don't control what happened. You don't control who left. But you do control how this chapter ends. You can let the pressure crush you, or you can let it carve out the strongest version of you that you ever seen existed. You're not the man who was left. You're the man who is rebuilt, under pressure, on purpose. And your story isn't over. It's just getting interesting.